All right, g'day and welcome to episode 6 of Bizer's blog. We're back and it's going to be a really big one. There's plenty to talk about this week from the last 2 weeks. Plenty of AFL debacles galore. Special feature on the state of the game coming up. You might notice there's a different background behind me for the viewers and for the potty listeners. I'm inside, that's why it might sound like I'm on the toilet. It's shitty weather outside, really glary, so it wasn't that great for filming. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me pretty well and it doesn't sound like I'm taking a crap. That's going to be the aim of today. A bit of Aussie business news, Coles in particular. Politics as well, Ozpol. A bit of WA politics. A lot happened in Western Australia in polls there. Bit of world events, a few things happening. Trump 2020, Hong Kong instability, ships getting blown up in near the Oman there, in the Gulf of Oman, oil tankers that is, not good. Sport, lots of sport to talk about, lots and lots of sport. The Matildas especially, they're going really, really well at the moment in the Women's World Cup. The Cricket World Cup as well to talk about, the Aussie boys going quite well there. The mailbag returns. That's right, the mailbag is back. Got a couple of juicy letters this week to talk about. The list, Buys a Shit list is back. That's right. Little bit of TV talk as usual, and whatever else gets thrown in. That's the beauty of Bizer's blog. We talk about anything and everything. All right, let's crack into it. Bizer's life first up. What have I been up to the last couple of weeks, you ask? Well, not much. To be honest, not much. I've been taking it easy, which has been really nice. It's not been a great deal of work for me, so which is all right. Nothing to complain about from me. So just been taking it easy. So it's been really good. Bit of Xbox, roll the bike, just chill around, clean the house up. Looks brand new again. Fantastic. How good is that? What else has happened? Driving around the other day, almost got hit by the RAC autonomous vehicle. The stupid little IntelliBus thing that we have here in Busselton driving around, no drivers, stupid thing. Going through the roundabout and the thing's taken off on me. I'm halfway through the roundabout already doing the right thing. Give way to the car to the right, bang, off I go. Screams out, wants to go along, shoot, and then smacks the skids really fast. Whack, the people almost did that on the windscreen. And but shit, stupid thing. Going to be quite dangerous, and it's bloody slow too. It's probably idle speed when it drives, so if that's the future of autonomous vehicles, well then we're in for like retirement life for everything. Expect to take 5 hours to get just 5 k's up the road to the shop to get some milk and bread and back, because that's probably how long it will take. What else is in my life? Not a great deal of much really. It's been shitty weather, pretty bloody cold here. And yeah, that'll probably end up on something we'll talk about later on. So we'll move into where we're into the AFL special straight up, because it's a big one this week. Lots of debacles with the footy. We've got behavioural awareness officers, pictures of them floating around now, and the Marvel Stadium, and the AFL try and give us the wank that they've been around for a while, but only just being reported about now. So not a good look for the AFL, considering that crowd getting kicked out for just barracking and just being footy supporters. There's nothing wrong with that. Go and support your team and have a good time. And you shouldn't be kicked out or chastised for that by anyone, as long as you're not carrying on and vilifying anyone and being homophobic or racial. Whatever you want, it's fine. If you're swearing a little bit too much and there's kids around. And that's what the parents of the kids are meant to say. Hey, well, tone it down, please, buddy. And you just go, yeah, no worries, sweet as, all good. And that's when fair enough if someone doesn't do the righty. Then that's when you get into a bit of strife. But otherwise, mate, if you're just barracking and you're yelling abuse at the umpires across the fence because they're giving bad decisions, or you're heckling the opposition player, or even giving your own team a bit of a spray. I know one of my mates, the King Eagle. He loves to give his own team a spray from the cheer squad, especially when they're kicking the ball back in. And it spurs them on. It bloody got them a grand final last year. So, Pie supporters, give our own team a little bit of a spray when we're not doing too well. Give them a lift, just like a coach would, because we can't get out there as much as the coaches anymore. So, not we, but the coaches, of course, can't get out and do it. And and as much as they could, because no runners, well, not as many runners. So give them a spray, but they shouldn't be in trouble for that. It's a little bit of a debacle, that one. It's not a good look. Gill looked cooked, absolutely looked cooked when he had his press conference apologising. Well, not really apologising. Especially didn't apologise to Joffa and Trouty from Richmond. Obviously Joff from Collingwood, and the other fans have been treated like crap. So probably not good enough from Gill. But yeah, he looks a cooked man, does Gill. Shadow of his former self, I reckon. Probably time for him to step down from the AFL CEO role. It's not doing a great job. Where you thought that Demetrio was bad. Well, Gill's just brought the game into just a whole place that no one wants it, and heart and soul is getting destroyed, which is very sad because we've been around for 100 plus years, the AFL. Obviously, Australian rules footy, the league. It's not the name of the sport, it's just the name of the league, but been a good comp, Australian rules footy, especially since 1990 when it formed, and yeah, it's been bloody good. And look, big story as well, it was coincidence that this story happened to come out around the same time that Gillon McLachlan was due to give his press conference, so it's taken all the heat off the AFL for abusing the fans and treating them like second-class citizens and criminals. The big story of Jaden Stevenson from Collingwood deciding it was a great idea to put a few bets on. Now, Jaden Stevenson, you're a fucking idiot for doing that, mate. Love you to bits. You're a fantastic footy player. I'm sure you're a really fantastic bloke. I've never had the opportunity to meet you myself. But I tell you what, mate, what are you doing? Seriously? And I'm sure you're full of remorse, and I'm sure you're kicking yourself now for doing it. And fair enough too. We all make mistakes, so let's not crucify you too much. But mate, when you're in this situation, you've got to be thinking a little bit smarter than that. So I'm going to pot you for it, absolutely, you dickhead, because it's going to derail our season. Not unlike what he saw with Nick Maxwell being up front with the inside information back in 2011 when he ended up getting 6 weeks. Obviously, if you reduced on your suspension, it would have been longer if they had done that. The people saying that 22 weeks is not enough, you should have been rubbed out for more, 10 weeks is not enough. Well, it was 22 weeks. It was reduced by 12 because of good behaviour. He's not had a bad record in the past, so therefore that comes into play. And I'm sure, just like our criminal justice system, if he transgresses again, those additional 12 weeks are going to be whacked on top of his next sentence, and they're going to come down really hard on him. So hopefully he'll learn from this one and stop it happening. All the nuffies that are saying, AFL is responsible for having all the gambling ads and stuff like that, I'm going to pot you as well. You're fucking idiots for saying that. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, simply because at the end of the day, no one told Steve-O to go and do the bets. It was his decision to go and do it. He was the one that on 3 different occasions, not just once, but 3 different times, decided to go and get his mates to go and get some cash twice, and once use his mate's betting account to put the bets on. And well done for Jeremy Howe for hearing about it and standing up as a leader of the Collingwood Footy Club and saying, hey, Steve-O, you need to go and tell the club and the officials and report this yourself that you're gambling on it, because if it gets out, it's going to be out of hand and you're not allowed to be doing this. So please go and do the right thing. You've messed up, go and sort it out. So well done for Harry for doing that, and credit to Stevenson for following through and admitting he was wrong, self-reported it, and good on you for doing that, mate. You recognise the error of your ways, but it's definitely not the AFL's fault in any way, shape or form that they're advertising. Yes, there's a saturation of gambling advertising, and we'll get to that in a moment, but it's not the AFL's fault for the adverts being there. It's just like, oh shit, back in the day with the smoking ads, if we wanted to smoke, it was our choice to do so. Or people going for murder or whatever the case may be. They chose to do it. Everything in life is a choice, no matter what. So never lose sight of that. You can't put blame onto someone else. He made a mistake. He's admitted the mistake and blamed it. The supporters and fans from Collingwood, mate, shut up. It's just silly. You're carrying on. Don't be that nuffy that puts the blame onto someone else. He made a mistake with the betting. End of story. It's no one else's fault. You've got to take responsibility for your own actions, regardless of saturation, advertising and stuff like that, which we will talk about. The whole idea of the self-reporting is stupid in itself. He self-reported this whole, I've done the wrong thing, I've transgressed, I've betted on the games, blah, blah, blah. It does reek of a little bit of hypocrisy, and I do get that point, considering that the AFL do make a lot of money from it, and every single bet, advert, ad break, application, you go look at the game, there's odds. Kids as young as 4 are seeing it. I don't think it's good enough. It's like the cigarette and alcohol advertising. Should be not allowed to be had. They got rid of the cigarettes and alcohol for a reason. It's not good for your health. This is even worse than that. This is taking people's financial lives away from them because they get addicted to gambling. They lose a lot of money. They can potentially lose everything. And then what it will do is it will also drive players into underground betting as well, because they can't use betting agencies and stuff, which is not going to be a good look for the league, and it will cause a lot of trouble. So they need to tone it back a fair bit and get rid of advertising of bet odds for sports and on the TVs. The kids don't need to see it. Families don't need to see it. Let's talk about the footy. Bang, that's it. Maybe we have one talk about the live odds of the game just before the start of each game or whatever. That's fine, but we know where they are. We can go check out the live odds ourselves. We can just say they go in as favourites or whatever the case may be, but not as much advertising, especially not around the grounds. Every advert, betting ad, odds ads, whatever the case may be, not good enough, needs to stop. Not that my thoughts would really do anything and change anything, but that's just my opinion on it. JS, obviously, you were silly. So we'll move on from that. It's a fair punishment, I think, for him. Idiot. Don't know if he'll be back for the rest of this year. I can't see Bucks wanting to pick him, no matter how good he is. The guy's a superstar. Would not played footy for 10 weeks. Going into the first week of the finals, unless there's an injury or something like that, I think it's going to be tough for him to get back. He's going to have to work his way really, really hard to get back into that spot to play senior footy. Absolutely. You're really going to have to work his way into that one. Look, we'll move straight into the sports as well while we're on the topic of sports, and we'll talk the Cricket World Cup. First of all, New Zealand sitting number 1, going pretty well at the moment, looking almost unbeatable. So that could be going all the way. You never know, New Zealand. Hope not. Don't like the Kiwis. Just because they're the Kiwis. The Poms sitting second there in England. Playing good cricket. Owen Morgan gone nuts the other night. Playing, pretty good cricket. They're in line for it too, but I reckon if we will give them a run for the money when it comes up to finals. Australia, Warner, Smith, Finch batting really well. Really good form. Playing some good cricket. Sitting third on the table at the moment. I think Australia are going to go there for the long run. We might be there in the final. Fingers crossed we'll get all the way. I'm not going to say we're going to win it this time, but we're in for a chance. India, a little bit average, but there's one game in hand. They haven't played a great deal of good teams. And when they haven't been too convincing, but they have played pretty good cricket along the way. I'd like to see Virat come out and go bang like Virat's known for. I'm sure they'll find their straps as they keep going. They're a few games in hand, so I reckon they'll be up high on the table when they even up with everyone else. So they'll probably be doing all right, India, and I reckon they'll be going towards all the way, and they're probably just poising themselves to perform really well at the end of the comp. All the good sides do. Bangladesh, well, amazing cricket from Bangladesh. They're going really well. A bit of a dark horse sitting in 5. Sri Lanka struggling down at 6, not doing too well. Mind you, Malinga is bowling quite well as always. The West Indies underperforming big time. I was expecting to see Chris Gayle go bang, and the boys do a little bit more there. They were my dark horse, and it doesn't seem to be working out for me. South Africa, Pritchard team sitting at number 8. Sucked in, you deserve everything you get. Pakistan, where are you? Did you turn up to the tournament? I don't think so. Afghanistan, well, to be expected, sitting down the bottom in 10 there. It's going to be interesting to see the rest of it and what happens, and I'll keep a close eye on that, and we'll come back to that one next time around. The World Cup soccer for the women. Fantastic sport happening at the moment with the Matildas. The Aussie team, they're going really, really well. Really, really well. Sam Kerr, 4-goal haul in the game. That was fantastic. First Aussie ever to score a hat-trick in a World Cup between male and female. That is a massive feat. Well done, Sam Kerr. Take your hat off if I had one. Bang, well done. Could go all the way, I reckon, Matildas. So go Australia, go the Matildas, keep going. Ash Barty, you bloody legend. What a legend, French Open winner. She's so cool, she's so humble. She's not like the other idiots that play tennis for Australia. I like her a lot just because of that. She's just a regular Aussie and she's good at what she does. So keep on going, Ash. Keep on going, mate. Hope you go all the way soon and come and win some Wimbledon coming up. That'd be awesome. See you win Wimbledon. F1's French Grand Prix coming up pretty soon. Shit, I like this track. It's pretty good. It's fast. Ferrari should compete as a result. I reckon they've got a little bit of pace. Mercedes didn't seem to have the pace last round in Canada, although Lewis won by default, because I think personally, even though I'm a massive Mercedes fan, that was a bullshit penalty. Sebastian's gone off the track. He's entered. He had no control. He's got control of the car. It's just a racing incident. I don't think it deserved a 5-second penalty, and that's not how the Grand Prix should have been sorted out, while putting Seb back to second under 5. Lewis couldn't pass him at the end of the day, and I thought it was a bullshit penalty. So FIA, that was probably the wrong call, that one. Look, tips for the sport, and we'll move on from sport because it's probably boring for a few of you. If it is sucked in, because that's what I like to talk about. Eagles, Bombers, Eagles. Swans, Hawks, Hawks. D's, Dockers, Dockers. Swans, Lions, Lions. Power, Cats, Cats. And the Dogs and Pies, the Pies, I reckon will get up, even with the scandal that has rocked us this week. I reckon we'll get up and, play some good footy. We need to this weekend. So fingers crossed the boys can do it and, all consolidate and start continuing our season. It doesn't derail like it did in 2011 at the very end when we lost that grand final. Now, David Letterman, I don't know if you have seen his new show, a bit of TV talk now, of course. His new show, This Guest Needs No Introduction, is fantastic. I think that's what it's called. Kanye West was on it. That was a really, really cool show. What a cool guy. If you don't like Kanye West, it's a really, really cool episode anyway. You should watch it. I reckon, check it out. Very good. A few other ones he did with Ellen, that was a fantastic one as well. David Letterman, yes. Well, don't know what happened there. Something happened haywire with the recording, so we had a little slight intermission. Anyway, yeah, David Letterman, you're a superstar. Really, really cool show. Definitely recommend watching that one. Geez, that's thrown me a little bit on that. Where are we? So we've just finished the TV talk, and we're going to get on to... Shit, where's the running sheet here? We're going to get onto the mailbag, Pfizer's mailbag. Now, a couple of good letters, and with that little debacle that happened, one of the letters that's been sent in fits perfectly. So let's get the old iPad out. Swig of the coffee. All right, so I've got a couple of questions here. Okay, there. This one's from Benny. G'day, Benny. How are you? Do you think we will ever hear about opinion polls again in Australian politics? Look, it's a really good question, that one. I'm not too sure whether or not we will, considering last time round they were so inaccurate, it's not funny. They were so wrong, just so wrong. They had Labor leading the polls massively, and it was 180 degrees the other way around. It couldn't have been any wrong if it tried. The opinion polls of changing leaders, of course, as well, which the Liberal Party decided to hang their hat on. They chopped and changed their leaders all the time because of their opinion polls, and they then turn around and say they don't follow the opinion polls too much. A load of horseshit. I don't understand why they chopped their and changed their leaders following that, but yet, the opinion polls are so wrong. They should just sit, and as it is, hopefully they won't do that this time around, and ScoMo can stay and do his full term, because I think he's the man to do it. Opinion polls are so wrong. Look at the opinion polls in the US, for instance, already with Donald Trump and 2020 and what's happening. They're already starting to say that he's massively behind. But once again, have you seen his rallies? He's got hundreds of people there, thousands, tens of thousands of people, in fact. Huge rallies already around the place. And the more and more people are going to start coming out to these ones around. He's going to win it in a canter again. And the opinion polls will say the other way around. And they'll try everything to, change it. But the opinion polls are just what the media wants. really, it's their opinion, it's not the people's opinion. So that's what they are. That's why I can't see people will take any notice of them if they stay around, really, to be honest, especially in Australia, considering the last election. So yeah, good question, Benny. Thank you for that one. Gaz, dear Bozza, fair dinkum, love your work so far with the potty, cracking stuff. Thanks, mate. That's nice of you. I'm going to be greedy and ask 2 questions of you this week. That's all right. 2 questions. Fire away. Do you still believe, in light of Jaden Stevenson betting scandal, that you and I will be having beers on Punt Road on the last weekend in September? Well, mate, I bloody hope so. I really hope so, because that was great fun to have those beers on the Punt Road. We might have to branch out a little bit further, though. There's some other pubs there. Mind you, that pub we're at was a pretty good one. In saying that, I don't know, like I said earlier on, it could potentially derail our season, but he is only one player, as much as a superstar he is. We've got Jamie Elliott, hopefully he'll be back and about, managing his injury, and a couple other guys, debacles, and a few other youngsters. Sidey will go up the front, so Hoskin Elliott as well to come back, Benny Reid, so we've got plenty of goal kicking power up the front. Steve-O is a utility for us though, so, you know, hopefully he'll be back, but like I say, I can't imagine seeing him back. Straight up as well, considering he wouldn't have played a lot of footy. It would just be unfair on the other players that have worked their ass off the second half of the season. So hopefully, mate, I can't see us, you know, not having beers on, you know, in that time. Grand final week especially. Maybe Sailor finals definitely, and fingers crossed we'll go to the end and have beers on the last Saturday of September, because that's the one we want to do. Now, is there any truth in the rumour that you, like your hero ScoMo, will be joining the Pentecostal church so that you can achieve higher office? Look, it's a good question. It has crossed my mind. Let's get real. No, it hasn't really. Hasn't really at all. But there's a good merit in that thought, because if naturally I do join, all the politicians and stuff like that have got something to hang their hat on. They can get a bit of a following and do their thing to the masses, and just another stepping stone to get the believers to follow you. So could be a good thing for me. Yeah, not saying I'm not bagging out or anything like that, but yeah. I don't know, if push comes to shove one day and I was going to run for office and it was going to, do the right thing, well, yeah, fair enough. I guess I was brought up religious some way, so you never know, mate. You never know what life is, but at the moment I'd have to probably say no, would be my final answer, that one. But good questions. Look forward to both the answers and potty in general. So yeah, go Pies. Go Pies. Well done. Thanks, mate, for the letter. It was bloody good of you. And got another one here, the 3rd letter this week. Love the potty. This one's this from Mitch. Love the potty. Got a few questions about it. Number 1, can you explain the prep work involved in creating Biceps blog? Well, Mitchy, I sit down probably once a week or once every fortnight now. We've gone to fortnightly episodes, and probably for about an hour and a half, I'll get me a notebook and I'll sit down there and write me points out and work out what I'm going to talk about. So probably 15, 20, half an hour of talking. I think this one might end up being half-hour episode, this one. About an hour's worth of prep work each week, depending on what I'm talking about as well. And that, a lot more prep work now that I'm going to fortnightly, so it takes a lot longer to get prepared. And I'll just, save articles and stuff like that I want to talk about, and just write little notes along the way. Put little reminders in your phone so I remember what they are over the week or the 2 weeks that I want to get onto. So yeah, fair question. What was the inspiration to start Biceps blog? Well, I just thought I've got a lot of thoughts. I talk a lot of shit to people. I've got some good thoughts, some pretty shit house thoughts as well. So I thought, well, why not just put it out to the masses? Not that many people listen, so share it out with your friends if you can. On the podcast there and on the YouTube, whatever, that'd be great. And do you ever edit or have retakes of the episodes when creating them, or you just go live and raw? Well, as I said before, when you would have seen I had a little debacle, the recording stopped, so I had to pause and set it all back up. So halfway through, so there's a little pause moment halfway through the episode. So that answers the question, I guess, nicely. Just live and raw, just straight in, straight out. No editing, no nothing like that. I'll just have to clip the two videos together for the YouTube, and hopefully the audio will clip together pretty nicely as well, and it'll be pretty seamless and won't be too much of a debacle. But yeah, never have a retake or edits. I just go start to finish, and yeah, if I fuck up, I fuck up, really. That's it. Hopefully I haven't had too many fuck ups in my short career of being a podcast blog person, so I wouldn't really call it a career. It's not really lucrative. I don't get any money out of it. If anyone wants to sponsor me though, hit me up, buysesblog@gmail.com, and we'll talk about sponsorship, and I'll wear a hat or get a shirt on. I hope to get some better equipment so I don't sound like I'm in the shitter all the time as well. That'd probably be good for everyone's ears. So if anyone's listening, any mates that might be listening that have a business in town, you want to sponsor me, hint hint, not mentioning any names, flick something my way, and we'll get your name out and about, and we'll hopefully be able to take this potty new places. So that'll be the, if not, who gives a fuck? It's really only for my enjoyment and anyone that wants to tune in. Now, sweet, we've moved on from that. We'll go to WA politics. It's a big episode, this one, so big things happening. They want to reduce the speed limit by 10 k's across the board over here. I was reading proposal happening. What a fucking debacle, absolute debacle. It's already slow enough as it is. We're talking New Zealand and other parts of Australia looking at raising the speed limits up to 140 because it's safer to do so. They're realising on long trips, people that are more concentrating on that because they have less time to sit and smell the roses and be distracted because they're focusing on the higher speed. And it's actually been proven in research and studies that that is the case. The cars are safer and safer today when we decide to drop the speed by 10 k's, which means that everything is going to be slower. It's going to take people a longer time to travel, which means there's less time in their life to do things, which means less productivity, which means less money is going to be spent because less people, less time, less money, bad for the economy, not good for productivity, money flow, all the bits and pieces like that. Not a good thing. People that say, oh, you drive on the freeway, we go slow anyway. Well, hello, there's more people than just the dickheads that live in the city. There's a whole state. It's a pretty bloody big place, and it would just cripple us, especially in our regional areas. And without our regional areas, the city in Perth wouldn't be happening because us regionals get all our produce and all like that happening so you guys can survive. So without our regionals, the city wouldn't be around. So we've got to support the regionals more, and then we'll go on to ghost towns, which is going to be happening. Regional towns, they're going to ghost towns at the moment. It's a debacle. All the southwest is a ghost town. Half of the main street, maybe even more of Busselton's a ghost town at the moment. No one's spending any money. No one's got any coin. Come and spend some coin. Come and start spending money on the streets. People need to spend some coin. Need to get some tourism over here. We need to start doing some stuff, get some people on the streets, and not just tourism for stupid events. Actual proper tourism that are going to bring people in. We do something where we've got restaurants, cafes open, stuff like that. We're actually bringing people onto the streets. We have a street fair, not events where people are down the foreshore and we, not near the CBD where the money's actually going to be spent and the majority of businesses get to benefit. Yeah, these events are great and crucial to the survival of tourism in the areas that they're in. However, they're not the be all and end all, and they don't bring everything in. They do a few things, fill up a little bit of accommodation during time. The accommodation probably would be already full. So ghost towns is a big issue in WA at the moment, especially in the southwest. I hope we can turn that around and get some businesses back on the streets and people spending some money, because I'd hate to see Busselton become just a retirement village. We became a city a few years ago, and personally I think ever since then the place has gone a little bit backwards. We're a town. We need to focus on being a small town. And let's not lose sight of who we are. And I reckon if we go back to being a small town mentality, we're going to thrive again, because the bigger we're getting, the worse it is for everyone. Lisa Harvey, I don't think the new lady that's been elected there, congratulations to her, but I don't personally think she's going to win the next state election. So personally, I reckon the McGowan government will win the losable election for him. So basically, Liberals got the unlosable election. Unless they change her at the end, I can't see her winning. She wasn't very popular in her time when she was minister before in the previous government, and I can't see her being very popular as opposition leader or premier. Now there's just something about her that people don't like. Look, and we need to throw a campaign in WA to teach people to learn how to fucking indicate. I'm sick and tired of you bastards who don't know how to indicate. It's not hard. The state government need to do something about it because it's a disgrace. Honestly, a disgrace. I'm not into it. Learn how to indicate. There's going to be some big accidents happening here soon. World events, we spoke about it just before. Donald Trump 2020, he's going ahead gangbusters, full steam ahead no matter what people try and do. Personally, I reckon he's going to get in for another term. Shit, who knows what's going to happen. I reckon it's going to be great. There's many reasons as to why. I'll go into it one day. We're running out of time for that. Hong Kong instability, Jesus Christ. How many people, I reckon a quarter of Hong Kong's population have protested against the extradition bill to China, and good on them for standing up for what's right, because that's a horseshit thing. China trying to control the world yet again, flex their muscle, not going to happen. The world has had enough of China doing their thing. Oil tankers getting blown up, Gulf of Oman, that's really not a good thing. Really not a good thing. The US and UK pointing the finger at Iran. It could be some big tensions happening there as a result. Interesting to keep an eye on that one. But yeah, that's a place where 40% of the world's oil is shipped through. So not a great thing for global stability, that one at all. Boris to be the next UK Prime Minister. There, I said it. He'll lead Brexit. Brexit will happen. Deal or no deal, it will still happen, and it needs to happen. The people have said they want it. Regardless if it's good, bad or indifferent, it's going to happen. The people have voted. Let's not vote again, because that will be a slap in the face of democracies around the world. Boris, great man, great guy. I remember him being mayor when I lived in London, and he was a ripping bloke. The place was super safe, really safe, no crime. Look at this guy now, this Sadiq Khan. Crime is huge in London at the moment. Absolutely ridiculous. There's been multiple stabbings in the last week over there. Knife crime is just ridiculous. Not a safe place to be on the streets at night time. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be doing what I used to do, walking the streets of East London late night, coming home from the bar at 4 o'clock through Leighton and stuff like that now, like I did 10 years ago in today's day, because I reckon I'd probably be murdered as a result. So it was pretty rough, but it's totally different now. So I feel for them there. Ozpol, bit of business stuff. Look, Coles, I heard an article that Coles are looking to reduce a $1 billion cost reduction. So by financial year 2023. Now that means a lot of jobs gone, more automation, stuff like that. Not a good sign. The rich get richer and the poor get the picture. Not a very, very good thing at all. So through recycling bins, I saw that was a proposal by the Adelaide City Council. Not a fan, but I guess you could just paint the inside of it and no one will be able to see what your stuff is. And well, look, that's pretty much the episode. It's been a big one. I'm glad you've all listened. I'm glad you've stuck around. I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks we might be having some guests or a phone call coming through. Got a couple of ideas and a couple of people who want to potentially have a chat on Bizer's blog as well. So it's going to be pretty good. Stay tuned for that one. Get on there, Instagram at Bizer's blog. Get on there, give me a like, give me a follow. YouTube at Bizer's blog as well. You want to watch this one. Apple Podcasts, Bizer's blog, of course, is where we are. You want to send some letters in, bizersblog@gmail.com for the mailbag next time round. That's it. Have a good time, everyone. Enjoy yourselves. And we'll catch up with you next time. Peace.